I watched them and they taught me something. What they taught me, and my research revealed, genes did not control their life. There's not one gene that causes cancer. There is no gene that causes cancer. Women, wake up. You've been programmed that the breast cancer gene is the cause of the cancer. 100% false. Half the women with that gene never get the cancer. Fear shuts off the immune system. The more you're in fear, the more you shut off the immune system. Over 90% of illness on this planet is due to that one thing. All of it, stress. What is the architect controlling my gene blueprints? The mind. Your consciousness is controlling your genetics. If I can program your first 7 years, I own the rest of your life. You are not the TV, you are the broadcast. I can't die. Way to let go is to recognize you are more powerful than you've ever been led to believe.
"30 seconds before we start. Someone asked me recently how I knew I was meant to do this work. I didn't. I just noticed I was the one people rang at 11 at night, and I'd been doing it for years without a name for it. If that's you, we train coaches in positive psychology, and you're coaching real clients from the day you graduate. riseandthriveglobal.com. Come and find us. What if the biggest lie you have ever believed is that your genes determine your future? World-renowned stem cell biologist Dr. Bruce Lipton challenges one of the most deeply held beliefs in modern science, arguing that your biology may be influenced far more by your environment, your subconscious programming, and your beliefs than you have ever imagined. From epigenetics and chronic stress to the power of the subconscious mind, this conversation will challenge what you think you know about health, healing, and human potential. Listen with an open mind, because one idea could change the way you see your life forever. Enjoy. Well, hello, beautiful souls. I just want to say, first of all, if you can't tell, I am super excited about our guest today. We have the beautiful Bruce Lipton. Welcome to the show.
Oh, I am so excited to be here with you. I so love the idea of how you're helping our planet evolve by providing knowledge. Knowledge is power. And I want to also thank you for an audience that I can speak with. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. And I can't thank you enough for the work that you've brought into this world and the expansion for every single soul that has either touched any of your books or been across even your books, even just anything to do with you, Bruce. As I was saying, everyone, before we got on the show, Bruce is got so much vibrancy and energy and just this real you about you. It's naturally in you. I know, it's gorgeous. So the way we love to start the show, Bruce, we always love to ask our guests, what inspired you to do what you do today? And specifically, I'd love to unpack Beyond Darwin. That's a journey in itself.
Well, it all started in second grade when I was in elementary school, and for the first time looked through a microscope and saw amoebas and these little microorganisms, and they were all moving around. And the first thing I saw as a kid was they're not bouncing around like a pinball. They're moving with intention. And I started to watch them, and I said, oh, my God, they're little people. There are little people in there. Well, that started my fascination. And many years later, I was in graduate school doing electron microscopy. Well, you can see so much with a regular microscope. With the electron microscope, you can magnify things 1,000,000 times. And I loved it because every day when I go to work and I look in that microscope in a world that it's not like going out in space, but it's going in space. I would see things that no other human had ever seen before. Every day I'd go to work and look in that microscope and go, look at it thrilled me no end. And then I was growing the cells in the petri dish, and I watched them. I watched them, and they taught me something. What they taught me, and my research revealed, is genes did not control their life, even though that's what I was teaching by curriculum in the school, teaching genetics. Most people, all people out here, have been taught that genes turn on and off. And they control your life. Well, as far as you know, you didn't pick the genes. You can't change them if you don't like the character. And then you're told they turn on and off by themselves. We have been programming people with that information to be victims. Meaning, oh my God, my life is not under my control. The genes are controlling my life. And when people feel they're a victim, they are also expressing being powerless. That's what victim, I have no power. And then they turn their power over to the medical community. And I go, well, actually, you were turning your power over to the pharmaceutical industry. Why? Because they were saying you have a physical body and you need physical chemicals, drugs, to adjust your body. And we bought into this whole thing. And I mean, in the U.S., they have drug ads every 15 minutes on television. There's an ad for a drug. You have this problem, you have that problem, we have a drug, and everybody's doing this. And nobody wants to acknowledge a fact. And this is a fact. It's published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. It's published in the British Medical Journal. Fact. 3 leading causes of death. Number 1, heart disease. Number 2, cancer. And I just want, while we're bringing that up, cancer increasing so much that it is taking over the number 1 cause of death. Younger and younger people are getting cancer like never before. Cancer is a problem here, okay? Oh, I got your attention. There's not one gene that causes cancer. There is no gene that causes cancer. Women, wake up. You've been programmed that the breast cancer gene is the cause of the cancer. 100% false. Half the women with that gene never get the cancer. So you might ask the question, how did the half get the cancer? It turns out lifestyle. Lifestyle, disharmony in your life is what produces a cancer. And I go, well, relevant, then if I can change my lifestyle, then I can change my cancer. And I go, that is the game. And I want people, especially women who are in such fear, because I'll give you a fact, fear shuts off the immune system. The more you're in fear, the more you shut off the immune system. It's not to punish you. It's just that the immune system uses a lot of energy. If you've ever been sick, you may not have the energy to get out of the bed. So the fear is always from the original fear. What? Running away from a saber-toothed tiger. That was, hey, 100,000 years ago, that was the fear. And so nature designed the fear response to conserve energy in the body so you can use it to run away from the threat, okay? Oh, I'm on such a tangent now, Catherine. I need to go a little more because it excites me, and I'll tell you why.
I love it.
One of the problems of fear is stress. And stress, as I said, the hormones shut off the immune system to conserve energy. Energy is in the blood. So I say, yeah, but if I'm being chased by a tiger, what part of my body do I need to energize? And the answer is arms and legs. I go, cool. And then I bring up this topic. At a resting stage or a peaceful stage, the blood is mainly in the gut, the viscera. Okay, why? That's maintenance of the body, fixing, cleaning, repairing. All the functions of these organs are to keep the body running great. But I need the blood in my arms and legs. So when the stress hormones are released, they cause the blood vessels in the gut to squeeze shut. That causes the blood to be pushed out to the arms and legs. You can feel it because when you're afraid, you can get a queasy feeling. You get butterflies in the stomach. I go, butterflies fluttering. I go, what's the blood vessels fluttering? You can feel it, okay? So I say, so what happens? You shut off the blood supply to the viscera and put the blood in the arms and legs so you can run. And there's a third thing. So we have shut off the blood to the gut, which is maintenance of the body. Shut off the immune system, which protects you from internal threats. And number three, the stress hormones cause the blood vessels in the forebrain, consciousness, a connection to spirituality, causes the blood vessels in the forebrain to squeeze shut. Why? It pushes the blood to the hindbrain, where reaction and reflexes are controlled. So I said, yeah, that's because they're fast. The hindbrain's like, man, you can make a response without even thinking so fast. So I said, so what is the problem of squeezing the blood vessels? We become less intelligent because now we're operating from programs. We're not operating from the creative wishes and desires mind. And when we become less intelligent, we become less powerful. And then we again give our power to something, someone that says they're going to take care of me because I'm afraid. So I say three things: stress, shut off the gut, which is maintenance of the body. Shut off the immune system, which is protecting us from internal threats, and shut off the intelligence and operate from reaction, reflex. I say this, and this is the number, and it's real. Over 90% of illness on this planet is due to that one thing. All of it, stress. And I said, well, people think, oh, genes are going bad, and that's why I have disease. Less than 1% of all the disease is in any way connected to genes. So the healthcare crisis is what? Living in a world of stress. And the stress levels are elevated every day. The health crisis is getting worse every day. More and more money for medicine, more and more money for drugs. That's the health crisis is getting worse, regardless of that action and all that money. Why? People are living in fear. And I go, what, saber-tooth tiger? No. The end of civilization is coming within 10 to 20 years. There is an irreversible collapse of civilization. And the chaos that is all around the planet are actually symptoms of the coming collapse. And you go, civilization is collapsing? I go, very fast. I go, why? And there's a scientific reason. Today's civilization requires the resources of 1.6 planet Earth. I say, we have resources being used now, 1.6 amount of resources. I say, yeah, there's one planet Earth. I go, yeah. Where's the extra 0.6 resources coming from? We're destroying the ecosystem. We're undermining the web of life. We're polluting the planet at every level. We're pillaging the resources from Mother Earth to make more toys, to make more hamburgers. The point is, we have exceeded what the Earth can offer. And as a result, civilization can no longer sustain itself in the way we are using it today because it is causing the problem, destroying the garden. We are derived from the garden. We evolved from the garden. I go, so why is that important? I say, no garden, no people. That's okay. That might be something to consider. And the whole idea of stress is this: stress was designed to run away from a saber-toothed tiger. I go, so what? I said, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of stress. Run like hell. Run, stress. Escape the tiger, no more stress. Shut it back off. So stress was designed to be used for the short, intermittent process of running from a saber-toothed tiger. I go, and what's the problem? Because today, stress is 24/7, 365, every day. Well, human biology, as I said, was not designed for perpetual stress. And this is why we are facing the healthcare crisis. And every country has its own form of stress going on. But the reality is this: civilization is collapsing, not sustainable. Does that mean people are going to disappear? People don't disappear. Civilizations have been here and they've collapsed. It means that the old version of life is collapsing in preparation for a new version of life. And we're in that process right now. We're breaking down the old. And all I can really emphasize here is let go of the civilization that is collapsing. So many people are holding on for dear life. Oh my God, what am I going to do? It's collapsing. And what am I going to do? I go, stress. You let go. Why? It's inevitable. It's going to collapse. And I said, and what? Be ready to work into a new world view. And so how that all happened from the microscope in second grade was my research led to an understanding that is so profoundly important today. 2 points that blew my mind as a professor, okay? Number one, genes are blueprints, just like you make a house. I say, so what? I say, a blueprint, and I'll use the technical term, is not self-emergent. What does that mean? Blueprints cannot turn themselves on and off. A gene cannot turn on and off. It's a blueprint. I say, well, what controls the blueprint? I say, architect, the architect. And then I say, well, what is the architect controlling my gene blueprint? The mind. Your consciousness is controlling your genetics. If your consciousness is in harmony with the world, your biology is in harmony with the world. If your consciousness is stressed and in conflict with the world, your biology becomes stress and conflict. We see we're destroying the environment on the outside. The biggest issues facing human health are the cells fighting each other on the inside. Most of the illnesses are called autoimmune disease. I go, autoimmune means self-destruction. We're killing ourselves with the stress of this world. And the way to let go is to recognize you are more powerful than you've ever been led to believe. Your beliefs and your programming have taken away your power. You possess this power, okay? But you're not using it because you believe I am a victim. I'm a victim of my genes. I'm a victim of the world. I'm a victim. I go, that means you have no power to control. When the fact is, it's completely the opposite. The mind is creating your life experience. So that's number one. It's the new science called epigenetics. Epi means above. So that's why we call skin epidermis, because underneath the skin is a layer called dermis. So above the dermis is epidermis. Epigenetics is control, epi, above the genes, which is the mind. And if the mind's not in harmony, the body's not in harmony. It's a simple, logical thing. That's fact number one. And fact number two, because I want to talk with you, and I'm talking and talking, so I will finish this next point and then take a breath. The next point is this, something I never believed in through my first 40 years of life. And the cells, again, taught me. We are spiritual entities living through the body. The spirit is an energy field, and the cells in your body download this field, a broadcast, so to speak, okay? No two people in the planet are the same biologically. How do I know that? The answer is you cannot put your cells or organs into another human. If you do, their immune system will say not self. If Catherine put her cells into my body, my immune system will say not self and destroy the transplant. If I put my cells into your body, your immune system will say not self and destroy the transplant. Something very important. The immune system can tell me my cells from your cells. And no two people are the same. And I say, what's going on? The immune system sees physical things, viruses, bacteria, parasites. And if it can tell your cells are different than me, there must be something physical that connects why my immune system can see that your cells are different than me. And the answer is this. On the surface of your cells that have a nucleus in it. Now, just to bring it up, because the red blood cells don't have a nucleus, okay? They don't have these receptors, they're called, okay? That's why we can easily transplant blood just according to type A, B, O, okay? Here's the point. The cells with a nucleus have a set of proteins called receptors. Receptors are receivers. And I said, do we have receptors? Of course. Eyes, ears, nose, taste, touch, pain. Where are our receptors? They're built into the skin, and they read the environment and bring us information. The cells have the set of receptors, interestingly called self-receptors. And I say, what's unique about them? They're antennas. They download a signal. I said, well, what signal would they download? Obviously, self, because no two people in the whole world have the same set. And I go, so why is that important? Well, then, if they're downloading self, where is self? And the answer is an energy field, a broadcast, so to speak. And it's picked up by these receptors and downloaded into the body. And I go, wow, in physics, they call energy fields of energy, invisible moving forces that influence the physical world. Spirit, invisible moving forces that influence the physical world. Spirit, an energy field. Quantum physics recognizes spirituality as an energy field unique to each one. Why is it unique? Your set of receptors are unique. There's no other human with the same set of these antennas, these receptors. And I go, so why is it important? Here it comes, finally, get to the point. And the point is this. Consider the body as a television set, and the energy field, spirit, same word, the energy field being picked up as a broadcast. Well, lo and behold, you're now looking at the Bruce show on the Bruce TV. I go, cool. And then I say, when the TV breaks, we say the TV is dead, right? It's not working. Dead. Question. The TV broke. Did the broadcast disappear? Broadcast is here. It's the TVs that come and go. Oh, wait. So my body is being used right now to play the Bruce show. When I pass on and leave the mortal coil, the TV behind, dead, the broadcast is still here. So I didn't die. I said, no. And here comes the exciting part. Down the road, a new embryo shows up with the same antennas that you have right now. You're back. It's called reincarnation. And most important point, does it make a difference if it's a male or female TV? I go, no, you're not the TV. You're the broadcast. Does it make a difference if it's white, black, brown, red, yellow? I go, that's the color of the TV. You are not the TV. You are the broadcast. I go, I can't die. No, you're not even in here. I keep wanting to go on because I'm so excited by it. But,
I love it. I love it. I've never heard it explained in that way. And I absolutely love the way that you've said it, because for me, it's like, well, there's so many things. When you first started talking about the whole breast thing, about that, it's interesting that you talked about this, because I was in France for 4 months, not that long ago.
yes,
And my grandmother died of breast cancer at the age of 60, which I'm 60. And so there's this, I think there's a real big misunderstanding about DNA, because we were talking about, well, just because she died at that age, that it's been passed on to me. And we got into the topic, but we looked into it. Most women that have passed, well, they've had experience with breast cancer, looking into all the research, is a lot of it is they didn't nurture themselves. If you think about the breast nurtures, it feeds. And when we don't nurture ourselves and we're too giving for others, it's like a sign. You know how I was saying how it's interesting how the universe sometimes gives us a sign. And you look at the sign, you know, our body, our TV is always talking to us, but are we listening? And I had an experience in France. And for me, it was like, my body is telling me I need to look after myself. I need to nurture myself. And I started healing.
But yeah, let me explain this, because this is fundamentally important. I'm going to give you the results of a study, and then you'll recognize the meaning. They followed the fate of what happened when an infant is adopted into a family where there's cancer running through the family. Ready? The adopted child will get the same family cancer, but the adopted child came from totally different genetics. What was the point? The cancer had nothing to do with the genes. It had to do with the downloading of beliefs and identity and programming that we get from our parents, who got it from their parents, who got it from their parents. So there's a lineage that runs through a family. It's not genetic, it's programming that runs through. And the idea about this is, first thing is, if you claim the gene did this, then you're claiming victim. I can't change it. I go, first of all, there's no gene that causes this cancer. It's the programming that took us out of harmony. The programming that is self-destructive. It's an autoimmune disease. You're killing yourself. Do you require a cancer cell to do this? I say, no, a normal cell in that situation of a disharmonious environment can become cancerous. That's called epigenetics. The mind took control of the cell and took a normal cell and made it a cancer cell. If you want to stop the cancer, the whole idea of chemotherapy and radiation. I go, no. I said, why not? I said, those cells already have the cancer. Killing those cells, does that stop a future cell from getting cancer? I say, no. You're not getting to the cause. You're just killing the ones that already activated it. And so the point about it is that treatment, chemo and radiation, will not prevent the cancer from coming back because it doesn't address the source of the cancer. And I go, where's that? The mind. And this is what you're working on, Catherine, darling. You're changing your mind. You're learning to live in a different way. There are two issues. Remember I said stress causes three things, okay? One of them shuts off the immune system, okay? The fear of having breast cancer is a stressor. Just having the fear of having breast cancer is interfering with your immune system function and can cause the breast cancer. So it becomes really important to recognize that the fear, and I go, where's the stress coming from? I go, where is it coming from? The world is falling apart in your face. Your future is not clear. We don't know what's happening, okay? I recognize scientifically that the collapse is occurring, and we have a suggestion for the future, okay? But the point about it is simply this. There are two stressors that affect 80 to 90% of the entire population. Two stressors that lead to internal disease, okay? Stress number one, 80 to 90% of people will not test positive for I love myself. Why? Because when they were young, they were criticized by parents and teachers. And when they were young, those criticism wasn't consciously processed. It was downloaded. If the child is under 7 and get criticized, it's not a thinking thing. The child just downloads. Not good enough, not smart enough, not lovable, not this, not that, not deserving. I go, if the child hears that before age 7, they are programs. And these programs being self-critical, when it comes to, am I okay? And my program saying, no, you're not. You're not deserving. You're not lovable. You're not this. I said, oh, yeah, those are the programs I downloaded. So that's number one problem. Number two, and this is especially affecting women, is the stress that results from this statement. And I say, the statement is, I am safe. 80 to 90% again of the population will not test positive for that belief, and mainly women. Of course they're not safe. Look at the world they grew up in. There is no safety for a woman compared to that of a man. And that stress is there when you're an infant from your family, as you grow up, your experiences, and all of a sudden I say, so why is it a problem? I say, it's the stress. I say, yeah, but what about stress? I say, it shuts off the immune system. It shuts down the maintenance of the body. And all of a sudden you say, oh my God, this world is creating so much stress. I go, and that is why we have an ever-growing health crisis at this moment.
One quick story, then straight back to it. A man came through our program about 15 years in HR, respected, well paid, hollowed inside it. He said something to me I thought about ever since. I've spent my whole career developing other people, and none of it has ever felt like mine. He now coaches senior leaders inside organizations you'd recognize by name. What changed first wasn't his confidence. I thought it would be, and for years I taught it that way. What changed first was that he finally had a framework worthy of the instinct he'd always had. The confidence came afterwards because it had something to stand on. And he was coaching real clients through our Coach and Grow platform from the day he graduated. Now, if that landed somewhere, come and have a look. riseandthriveglobal.com. Back to the show. When you talk about the stress, though, a lot of these, they would be unconscious, because I think of all, when I look at all the political, the mental health stuff, the environmental stuff, like I think to myself, even that in itself creates unnecessary stress. But do you see this as evidence of collapse? Because you keep talking about the collapse, but then you're talking about the new world, or is that the evidence of evolution?
Well, evolution is a transformation.
Yeah.
The government, and more specifically, the corporations behind the government, are self-serving. They're not serving us. There was a vision, oh yeah, the government is going to take care of me. I go, no, the government takes care of itself. The corporations, they don't care about you. They care about themselves. And as a result, they engage in policies that actually cause conflict in our lives because they are running the show and creating the stresses that the working people are experiencing. The rich, they don't give a damn. Why? You got enough money, you can buy whatever the hell you want, you know? And the idea is a simple understanding about stress. The world, imagine a pie representing the world's resources, including money, because money is a tangible form of energy. The more money, the more energy. I can buy anything, okay? So imagine this pie, the energy pie. And then recognize this. A percentage less than 1%, far less, has more than half of that pie. Taken away. A handful of people have taken away half of the resources. I go, then what? I say, that leaves 99% of the people competing for the leftover resources. Well, there's more people than resources. Well, that's the formula of stress. It's like, can I survive? Can I make it? Can I buy food? Can I pay the rent? Can I pay for the gas in the car? All of these are stresses that are controlled by the corporations, the government behind the corporations controlling them, and the media. Stay away from the conventional media. It is owned by corporate interests. It will give you stories that will stress you. And the more they stress you, the fear of, oh my God, gas, I can't afford to go to work. I can't afford gas. I can't afford, oh, the food. One thing after the other. I go, what's the point? The more fear you're in, the more you will give up your power to them. And this is the wake-up call. And the wake-up call is...
So you're saying
go ahead,
the more fear, we're actually giving our power away, so then we're being controlled.
Yes.
So, and I mean, I don't watch the news anyway, so I haven't for years because I'm too sensitive. But how do we, because I just think like, when you were talking about the collapse, we've got another 10 or 20 years. I was thinking the Lemurians, the Atlanteans, does that mean that Mama Gaia is going to just wipe us out? Or does it mean there is a form of, the system's breaking down, whether it's corporate and health and education, and then there's going to be a new world, a new human. Is that what you speak about?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a change in consciousness. It says the way we were living, we hit the wall. It says, why? We don't have that many resources to continue. It's like we're indebted. We're borrowing from the earth more than the earth can offer. And there's a point that says, well, you can't do this. It doesn't mean we die. It means we must change the way we are living. and create a better version of civilization. The current civilization, if I was going to put my finger on one of the biggest problems in the world, is Darwinian evolutionary theory. Darwin did not discover evolution. A man, Jean-Baptiste Lamarck, discovered evolution 50 years before Darwin in a scientific publication. So the idea of evolution, that was not new with Darwin. Darwin proposed a mechanism of evolution which differs from the original version, Lamarck. Let me get why it's important. Lamarck discovers, oh my God, there's an evolutionary sequence of more and more complexity in organisms. Yeah. And then he had to offer what his thought was controlling this evolution process. And the thing he noticed was this: organisms fit the environment that they're in. A polar bear fits the Arctic, okay? It doesn't live in Africa. No, that's a wrong environment. Roses don't grow in the Arctic, but they do grow in the middle zone, the temperate zone. I go, so why is this important? Organisms fit where they are. And Lamarck, observing this 50 years before Darwin, said, there must be some connection between the environment and the genetics. Well, today, that connection is revealed. It's called epigenetics. The mind interprets the environment and the mind changes the genetics, okay? But Darwin, when he introduced it, he said it's based on heredity, number one. Accidents of mutations. Mutations, by definition, are accidents. And so I said, well, how did we get here? Darwinian theory? A whole lot of accidents. A whole lot of mutations. And then a very important point is, well, is there any purpose to human life? And the answer is, no. It was a whole bunch of accidents. We're here. Do what you want. I said, oh, totally wrong. We evolved as part of an ecosystem. I say, why? And this is the point. A garden from whence we came is a community of organisms living in harmony. That's what makes a garden. It's not disharmony, it's the beautiful organization of it. Every organism in the garden's job is to maintain the balance and harmony of the garden. The only organism not doing that, humans. We are destroying the garden. Why? We don't see that our mission was to maintain the garden. As we're pillaging the resources and destroying the ecosystem, it's like we're not living according to the mission of biology. We're supposed to live in harmony. The idea that Darwin introduced, besides the heredity, is that that there's a struggle for life, and it's based on a competition. Basically, the summary of the theory: survival of the fittest in the struggle of life. Well, first of all, the struggle of life is a false understanding of science. It was produced by a philosopher by the name of Thomas Malthus. And he came to the conclusion that animals reproduce faster than food. I guess, so why is that a problem? Point. Too many animals, not enough food. And that's the struggle. So that's built into the belief, which is now 100% false. Animals and plants learn to live in balance with each other. The populations will stay stable, okay? So struggle idea is wrong. But then it's offered that you must compete. Survival of the fittest. Okay, that's the basis of evolution. Competition. I go, well, wait. Competition has an original definition, but it also has today's definition, which is different. I say, what's the difference? Today's definition of competition is a competition between where there's a winner and a loser. The winner and the loser, okay? Competition. The original version of competition was described as to strive together. What the hell does that mean? That means, I'll give you a simple example, and I always start with the fact I don't play tennis, but I like to use the analogy. If I was a tennis player and I played only other people who are weaker in the game than I am, I gain nothing. Matter of fact, I might even lose some of my skills just because I don't have to work hard, okay? In contrast, if I play somebody who's better than I am, the competition. There was no competition with the easy ones. Competition is when I play somebody better. I say, what's the result? I say, I have to work harder. I have to improve myself to come up to that level of competition. It's not I lose, I'm gaining. It's an opportunity for me to better myself. So the idea of competition was never winner or loser, but that's today's world. We're in competition. And Darwin said, survival of the fittest. I love this because the point is, the simple word fit means capable of surviving. So I said, well, let's look at all the people. I said, these people are just fit. These people are more fit than they are. These are the most fit. They're the fittest. Darwin, arguing from a Victorian point of view, was saying that the upper class, the fittest, was the source of evolution, the rest irrelevant. But they were all capable of surviving. And the point in the minds of those people was there are too many of them. We have to get rid of a lot of the population. And that started back in the days of Malthus. Malthus coined a new word, slum. What was that? He said, build the housing for the poor in the swampy area. You go, why? Because that's where disease takes over. And if we put the poor people in the swamp area, they'll die faster than those living on the hill. And the point is, the upper class lived on the hill. The poor people lived in the swamp. That was from day one of struggle. And the Germans expanded on that. They said, war helps eliminate the population. When we talk about today in the battle, 15,000 of our finest young men died in the battle. The people who are announcing that are like, 15,000, 17,000, 18,000. They don't see them as people. They just see that, oh, good, less people, less people. And all of a sudden I say, oh my God, this whole idea is so wrong. And today, it's not upper class or lower class like Victorian England. It's richer class, poorer class, with the 1% being the equivalent of the so-called fittest controlling the rest of us. So the whole idea is this: competition in a winner-loser mode is self-destruction. And that the new theory of evolution is just the opposite of competition. It's cooperation. That when humans learn to live in community, community is the foundation of the garden. Garden is community. And we're not living in community. I go, why? And here it comes. The people in the know, recognize that we as citizens have no power unless we're in a community. So if we break community, then the people have no power. And all of a sudden I said, and that has been the mission, is the mission, currently what's going on, us against them. My religion against your religion. My race against your race. You know, my country against your country. I go, oh my God, we have no power. Who has the power? Less than 1%. They're by definition, the fittest, but they're not. We gave them that knowledge, appointment as being the fittest. They're not the fittest. They just ripped everybody off more than anybody else could. To become the fittest, this is really profoundly important. Is there any morality in how you become the fittest, how you get more money, how you rise above? Is there a morality of being nice to people and helping people? I go, absolutely not. Today's competition is an immorality, immoral. Why? I win, you lose. Do I care about you being lost? That's your problem. I'm the winner. Screw you. You know, 100,000 people are dying of starvation. I'm throwing away food. Why? I don't care about them. I got more than enough. I go, that's not morality. That's immoral. And the reality is what? There's a simple rule called the golden rule. I said, what is that? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And the point is, we are not helping others. We help ourselves. And at that cost, the others are losing, failing, struggling, trying to get by, 99%. And that's why we're in the situation. So it says, this fight of competition based on no morality rules, any way you can win, has to end. Because the evolution is based on creating the community that we have lost, where we come together with no separation. And part of that I mentioned a little earlier by the nature of spirituality. I go, why? We're not the bodies. We're the energy. All the energy is the same. There's no better energy and weaker energy. All of it's the same. But there are programs that we live by which are better or weaker creating programs. So the programs are dividing us, not the source. If we understand we all came from the same source, then in a moral insight, we would never hurt another human. We would never destroy them, shoot them, kill them, do whatever. Why? They are us. Why? We're all the same. And that the future is not based on the individual, survival of the fittest, the individual. It's based on the collective. Are we recognizing that we're all part of one organism called humanity? We are cells, each of us. Catherine, you're a cell. I'm a cell. Anybody listening here is a cell that is part of the community. And I said, well, how's that community doing today? I go, autoimmune disease, self-destruction. And that health is when we recognize that every human on this planet is from the same God source. That to compete and to hurt another human is hurting ourselves. So evolution is changing. Get away from the competition, recognizing that cooperation and support and helping lift each other up, striving together, not winner or loser, striving together. That's the foundation of a civilization. It's in process at this moment.
Are you seeing that? Because I mean, I love the way you were talking about the competition, because it's almost like the cooperation is a way for expansion and growth, right? It's like I love the analogy about the tennis. That's awesome. But
yeah.
Are you seeing that? So you're talking about this evolution. Are you seeing this? Because I have seen it. The communities, people starting to come together. There's communities starting to build in all over the world. Are you
Hey,
seeing?
hey, you have a community watching you right now.
Yeah.
They didn't tune in by accident. They tuned in because there's something common to all the viewers that are watching. That is what's common. A foundation and belief in the community and consciousness. They didn't get here as independent. Just hey, today I've flipped the dial and there's Catherine. That's nice. No, they're here because there's a community. I have a community. You have a community. And I say why is important because we both are offering the idea of enhancement of the power of the people in that community. I'm not trying to take away power. I'm trying to get back to your power.
Yeah, I'm very much in the belief of that as well. But how do you, because I am very much like, I believe that our external world is a reflection of our internal world, which goes back to what you described, the stresses. So if we're highly stressed, obviously we're going to be projecting that into our reality and creating our reality.
Creating reality with your programs,
Yeah.
not your conscious wishes and desires, and then recognize 60% or more of the programs are disempowering, self-sabotaging, and limiting our beliefs. So when you're in stress, you're not using the conscious mind, you're operating from the program. And I say, who gave you the program? Well, here's a fact. 400 years, the Jesuits have told their followers, give me a boy until it is 7, and I will show you the man. That is a scientific reality. Why? First 7 years is programming. The rest of the life, 95%, is the program. So if I can program your first 7 years, I own the rest of your life. They told that to their followers for 400 years, and their followers were going, oh, okay. They didn't get it. That's programming. I say, and the Jesuits' idea of programming is so primitive compared to today's programmers that when you see an infant that can barely walk carrying an iPad, you are watching the evolution of programming. That child has been programmed to look at that screen and operate from there. That is programming. So are we being programmed? Well, it's been known for 400 years, so I can control you. So the media is the informing agent, is programming you. Watch the news and see if you feel good when it's over. Probably not.
True, and even in social media, you can you can have a conversation. I was having a conversation with my sister the other day about getting the vagus nerve thing for regulating the system. Next thing I'm sort of on my phone, it's like it's on every stream, anything on my phone. So we're constantly being looked at, listened to, and programmed. So when you're saying about being the victim, I think that unconsciously, it's almost they want to keep us as a victim.
Yes, because you have no power.
Yeah, we have no power. Yeah.
And you will pay for somebody to help you get that power.
Yeah.
You will pay for those drugs. You will pay for the people that, I need this, you pay them. It's the motivation that pushes most corporations to offer us stuff that we feel we need and cannot have unless we pay for it. And then all of a sudden, as long as I can make you feel that you are powerless or that you're in need, I own you because you will put money to me. And I say, money is a representation of energy.
Yeah.
You will give away your money, your energy, to get something that they told you you needed, even though that thing you needed was probably self-destructive in the first place.
Yeah, so true, so true. Bruce, I am so conscious of your time as well. I'd love to really just, with your new book, Beyond Darwin, and you've got it with you. There you go. It's beautiful. I love it all.
Beyond Darwin. It's a new book, and it's all about personal empowerment. It has two parts. Part one, a scientific theory, which I refer to as the antidote to Charles Darwin. And part two, things that we didn't know so much in regard to our health that will help us live into the new theory. And it involves diet and nutrition, which we haven't paid that much attention to, and which we're dying from corporate industrial food, which has no nutrition. Something I learned I didn't know. Teeth are so important in our entire physiology. Now, the Asians, because in their energy diagrams, the teeth are connected to every different part of our body. And then I said, but you know what's interesting? Having been a professor in a medical school, that there's a dental school. I go, what do you mean? I say, is dentistry not medicine? It's separate. This is medicine. That's dentistry. Oh, that's just about your teeth and your chewing. I go, man, that is the vision of disempowerment. The Asians are right that the teeth and their health are affecting and reflecting the health of the human body. And that one thing I learned at the cost of something was a root canal, which is a standard process, right? 90 some percent, 98% of root canals are infected. If you have had a root canal, I can assure you there's an infection. You say, yeah, but I'm feeling okay. I'm going, well, there's a problem. The toxic byproduct of the infection is actually debilitating our physiology. And the immune system cannot attack it because they're in something called plaque. The dentist, brush your teeth, you have plaque. Plaque is a form of bacteria living in a membrane that protects them from anything you're trying to do to get rid of them. The membrane keeps the outside environment from affecting the organisms inside the plaque. And you say, well, I'm brushing my teeth. I say, hey, you can't brush away the plaque. But the idea about that is I didn't even know how much, and I think that I ended up with a tumor in my mouth was in large part due to a root canal that was so affected, it caused a lot of serious problems in my mouth and then caused an issue manifesting the physical expression of a tumor. And the point about it is what? Whoever thought, me thinking that, whoever thought about dentistry as being fundamental to the unfoldment of all my physiology? Why? Dental school is not medical school. I go, that is the problem. That dental school is a part of a medical school. But the dentists are just I'm just fixing teeth. I say, but you don't get it. The teeth are connected like every organ system. The body is not a bunch of individual organs. They're all integrated. Every organ is connected to every other organ. And we don't talk about that. And that's in my book. That brings up the nature of health issues. Yet you're not seeing the integration. And that's why there's a new medicine called integrative medicine. You might have a heart problem, but the kidney could be affecting that. If you just went to the heart doctor, he's not going to talk about the kidney. Yeah, but the kidney is important in that. Yeah, but not to the heart doctor. Why is that? Specialization in medicine has separated the elements of the body and talked about this element as separate from. I said, there's nothing separate. They're all integrated. So again, we lost our power buying the belief that my heart is not connected to the rest of my existence, even my teeth. I go, yes, it is. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I went off because I was talking about my new book. Coming out in August.
Yeah. Love it. Do you know what you were just talking about? I saw a documentary called Root Canal. And the guy did a whole thing on it, and he was talking about how like he had really bad anxiety. He went to all these different specialists, blah blah blah. When he had the root canal removed, it went away. So he talked about,
Yes.
yeah. So I've heard of that.
I'm going to ask where you may have seen that because I would like to see it.
I'll send it to you. I will send it to you.
Oh,
Yeah, it
well, I
was
think it's really
amazing.
important
Yeah,
because, as I said, I even have a chapter of that in the new book, and it's something because it's not in our consciousness as a population of the relevance of teeth.
yeah.
Oh yeah, for chewing food, I go. It's for integrating the entire physiology. That's what it does. Yeah.
Yeah, and even when you were talking about, I see I've been seeing a Chinese a herbalist, and she does all
Yes.
the acupuncture. Every part is connected to another part. So you might have a pain here, oh, it's your liver. You might have a rash here, oh, that's your kidney. So
Yeah.
and what they do is they work to balance and harmonize the body.
Harmonize. Isn't that
Yeah,
a wonderful word? That's evolution.
yeah, yeah.
Harmony.
So
Harmony. Yes.
So for the listeners out there, which I'd love to for us to, what would be that one message you would like to leave with them? That may be a question I haven't asked, or something that you would like to bring up, or whether it's in your book. What is there
No,
anything
I
that you
think
would
that,
like to?
yes. Number one, stop believing you're a victim of genes controlling your life and own the reality your consciousness is selecting and altering the gene readout. I mean, altering is this. You can come with a healthy cell, but consciousness can turn it into cancer. In fact, over 90% of cancer is just a lifestyle that you're doing without recognizing. You are manifesting the control. You are not a victim in that case. Okay?
Mm.
Number two,
Mm.
we are spiritual entities. We're not even in this body. We're the broadcast. I say, why have a body? I go, because you are creative. With a body, you can manifest. I can build a house. I can build a rocket ship. I can build a computer. I go, oh, so when we end up in the body, we can manifest our wishes and our desires by physically manifesting them. I go, yeah. And then people don't get this. Spirit has no sensory aspect. I can make a definition of love, words, but the body can make a feeling of love, which is fabulous, but you can't put it into words. Why? It's a sensation. All the body's sensory devices are giving us an opportunity when we are manifesting our lives to read, are we doing something in harmony? Are we doing something in disharmony? And if we're doing something in harmony, it feels good, and I say, aha, that was the point. Do it. So I say, why is this ultimately relevant? And the answer is this. And believe me, this is so, maybe one, two, and three is this. People have been programmed to believe if you have a good life, you'll be eligible to go to heaven. I said, what's heaven? I said, 50 people? Tell me what's heaven. 50 different definitions. Your heaven is not my heaven. Your heaven is yours. I go, so what was the point? We don't die and go to heaven. We are born into heaven. Earth is heaven. And you look and I go, with all this violence and disease and blah, 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 I go, that's a manifestation that we are creating.
Mm.
If you've ever fallen in love, you have the open window opportunity to see you can also create heaven on earth, the honeymoon. We
Mm.
came here to manifest heaven, okay? When
Yeah,
you die, you can walk away with the memory of it. But
yeah,
when you're here, you manifest it. So the point is, don't wait to die to experience heaven. You can have it right now. That's why we are here, and that we're immortal. and we're having the experience right now, we'll come back and have another experience, but in a different TV, but we'll come back. And so I want people to recognize that the fear of death is like, stop it. Just stop it. I go, why? Because you can't die. You're always here, and you'll be back. And when we get it right, every time we have a life, we alter the source. It's called karma. If you have a good life, you bring harmony to the source. If you have a troubled life, you bring disharmony to the source. And if your source is in a state of disharmony, guess what? You came back to adjust the disharmony by the current lifestyle that will feed back in. If you learn to live in harmony right now, you can cancel any negative karma right now. You don't have to wait another lifetime. Why? Your experiences are sent back to source. And this is why your experience make a difference. Are you enjoying this life, or are you living in fear? Well, the vast majority right now are living in fear. Are you a problem? That consciousness produces the disease. That consciousness produces the dysfunction. That consciousness produces the violence and the war. And we're doing it.
Yeah.
So my wish for all of you is to listen to Catherine, get some good information, start to apply this information. I think the biggest problem is we learn something, it's in the conscious mind. I go, yeah, I take the exam. I got 100. I got all the facts. I go, that's nice. Have you applied them? And the answer is no. Why? Because 95% of your life is coming from the program you got before you had the facts. So the facts are great here, but they don't change the programming you got. And you can change that programming. We're running out of time, but I'll give you a little insight,
time.
right?
Yep.
The website, brucelipton.com, has articles on everything we've been talking about, free, download them, and resources of how to change your program. And if you change your program, you can come from a life of conflict and live in a life of joyful peace and harmony. I say this not just as a scientist with the understanding. I say this as Bruce, a guy who for the first 40 years was operating from programs where I couldn't get a relationship because I downloaded my father's negative behavior and it blew away every relationship until I recognized, oh my God, it was a program of behavior. I rewrote the program. I have now been, and I swear, living heaven on earth for 30 years, every day, honeymoon, every day, waking up with what? I live in a beautiful world. I love my life. I have a beautiful partner. I said, how'd that happen? I said, I rewrote those negative beliefs, which for the average person, over 60% of the beliefs you're operating from are disempowering and self-sabotaging. And if you change those beliefs, then guess what? Then you ultimately realize what the honeymoon was. That's heaven.
That
And
is
you can
heaven.
have that any time.
That is heaven. And that takes a level of consciousness that you speak about, being in the present moment, which I think most of us forget to do, to be in the present moment with what is, because that's where change really starts, is to be present, be in the here and the now.
100%.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I'm listening to you.
Oh, you're gorgeous, Bruce. You're amazing. Can I just say, everyone, we'll have everything in the show notes. Highly recommend, again, Bruce's latest book. We'll flash it again, Beyond Darwin.
Yeah.
It's highly recommended, and I can't wait to get into it. So I'm wishing you the best of luck with your book launch. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing your time, your wisdom, and your wealth of energy. You're such a beautiful soul. Thank you for everything that you do for us.
Catherine, this thanks go right back to you to let me have this opportunity. So thank you. And then thank our audience because they're seeking answers to get out of the box that is killing them and create a new environment. So I appreciate every one of you out there because you are the individuals that can bring heaven back to earth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, beautiful. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Before you go, something I would like to say. The hardest thing for me to watch in this industry is a good coach with no method, all warmth, all instinct, and no way through to the thing underneath. The conversations feel lovely, but nothing moves. I was that coach. I had presence and I had care, and I did not have a framework, and I confused the two for longer than I'd like to admit. I'd finish a session feeling like something profound had happened, and then watch the same person bring me the same problem a month later. And I tell myself they weren't ready. They were ready. I wasn't equipped. What changed my practice was learning to find the root cause fast enough that the person in front of me could feel it shift inside the same hour. That's what we teach. Not how to sound like a coach, how to get to the thing. And that's really the only reason I'd say any of this to you. If you've been the person other people come to and you've had the feeling that you're working on instinct and hoping, that feeling is accurate and it's fixable. RiseandThriveGlobal.com. We built this because the world needs better coaches. And if you're one of them, come and find us.